Man, it's so weird to still see like little pockets of crypto bros hyping each other up, gassing each other up like, yeah, we're in a rough time right now, but I know it's gonna bounce back any day. There's like a little psych word. Thanks to the reset Lunchables and Zandies and Yukui. Have you watched the Alex Jones channel fight interview? Not yet. I've been meaning to though. Yeah, even on Twitter, they're not getting a lot of support. You know, here, is it like that everywhere? Wasn't that a big one? What Terra is that now? You know, let's go to the most basic. Bored Apes. How the Bored Ape community doing? Where's the last Bored Ape post? They just retweet shit now. Damn, this shit looks super dead. Love to see that. Oh god. Oh, they have their own little game. I think this is a Roblox map? Does anyone recognize this? What game is this? Oh, people are sharing screenshots. Apparently someone had a birthday party in the Bored Ape game. You can't see it? I can't pull it up on Twitter because some of the replies are from OnlyFans girls. I can't tell what this is. Go full cam? Yeah, good idea. Here. It looks like Roblox, but it's too like high fidelity. The game looks like shit from the screenshots they're posting though. Is it VR chat? This is Decentraland? Some guy named PT Man had a big birthday party in there, I guess. He was joined by all the NFTs. Are you sure? Because I mean, here, look. I don't. It's like I think it is like Decentraland or something. I don't think it's VR chat. Because they have their own little stores where you can go in there and get a victory screen. Let me focus. There we go. It's Sandbox? Is that like a metaverse game? I don't think I've heard of Sandbox. Actually, just give me 1 second. I want to be hold it in for a minute. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go Sandbox 1 up. It's Sandbox? Is that like a metaverse game? I don't think I've heard of Sandbox. Actually, just give me 1 second. I want to be hold it in for a minute. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go Sandbox 1 up. This is the follow-up to everything. Logan Paul made his big statement talking about like that $1.3 million. You know, I'm sure Coffeezilla will cover all of it here.
Well, it's finally over. Logan Paul apologized.
Coffeezilla, you're slimy.
And we all forgave him.
Lopsided journalist with an agenda, more like an internet criminal.
Oops, wrong video. That was the first response. He actually apologized in another response.
Have you watched any of the Daryl Brooks trial? No. Only like the clip that went viral of him arguing with the judge. I know he's representing himself. I also heard that he built a fort. Like he got removed from the court and built a fort out of boxes to hide in or some shit. Like I know it's goofy. I know he's a bit of an oddball. Maybe some Tori and Rob. Give some Brown. Is he trying for insanity? I don't know. And I also don't know if that's even a good strategy. I don't remember who made the video. It might have been Jim Can't Swim. I'm not sure. But apparently going for the insanity plea is bad. You set yourself up for a really, really, really rough time. He's not going for insanity. He's going for a mistrial. I read that theory as well. Like him arguing with the judge was hoping that she'd snap at him and then he'd be able to make a case for a mistrial. But she didn't play his ballgame. I just don't think he's that smart. Like I don't think he has the capacity to even come up with that plan. He gave his closing statements today? Fine, I'll check it out. Okay, I haven't seen this clip. With a title like that, I have to see this. Hold on. And then I'll see the closing statements.
In writing, but also give an opportunity to verbally advise the court and make your request. Do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions, sir? I would know he put 2 boxes right in front of her. See this, so I can't.
It's his fort.
See his face. See his jacket is off. Right? See his arms.
Okay, for people that don't know, I'll bring everyone up to speed. This guy is an absolute goofball, but what he's done is anything but goofy. This is the guy that ran his car through the Christmas parade and killed, I think it was 6 people. He's representing himself at the trial right now. Oh, it even says right here, killing 6.
The jacket on the back of his chair. He is unmuted. I confirmed previously regarding the audio working, and I will just ask him a second time, sir. Do you have any requests as relates to the draft packet of?
When was this?
Any additions,
last December, I think.
Or deletions?
Oh, he said it was Christmas, but I think he was asking what year. I think it was last December.
Yes, I think that's fair. I'm going to advise that they'll have to remove the box so I can see Mr. Brooks.
Last November, okay.
I don't know what he's doing behind there. He has quieted down. He hasn't had a current in a while. You can move the second one because it can interfere with the microphone as well. And the third one.
Well, now you've ruined his whole defense.
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to ask you for a third time. Do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions? Any requests for instructions that aren't included that you believe should be included? Any edits or deletions from the packet that has been provided to you? Because I couldn't see you, sir. I've asked you twice now, and I'll ask you a third time. Do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions?
That was his fucking box fort. Have some respect.
Do you have any requests related to the jury instructions, sir? As it relates to the jury instructions, sir, what are your...
I heard what the hell you said, man.
Jesus
Mr.
Christ.
Brooks, that was very disrespectful.
For what, anyone that doesn't keep up, and admittedly I haven't watched this whole thing top to bottom, I've only seen the clips, his tactic is yell at the judge as much as possible, hoping that she'll snap it back at him, but she just treats him like an actual baby. Just, hey, that wasn't nice. Can you use your inside voice? Okay, I don't really want to go down this road. Can you stop? Why are you so mad? Please? This is silly. Just all she gives him. Because if she does, like, snap back to try and, like, discipline, based on what I've read, they could try for, like, a mistrial stating, like, the judge was biased or the judge clearly had it out for the client or some shit like that. So she's just keeping her cool, keeping everything super mellow, super, stoic. So good for her. Man killed 6 people. Yep. I think it's killed 6, injured 60. Something in that ballpark. 50 or 60. He's an absolute monster. Let me give some rage. In the tier 1 rage. Ryan Dante.
Mr. Brooks, do you
Tier
have
1.
any requests?
Ortiz.
Do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions? understand you may be upset, and I really do, but I've made my determinations. I'm gonna mute him again because he's not answering the questions. I'm very clearly asking him. I've given him 5 options.
Give him his boxes back and he'll be more talkative.
If he has any requests as it relates to the jury instructions, I'll unmute you for that answer. Mr. Brooks, I know the audio is turned up. I believe you can hear me. You've chosen not to put the headphones on. That's your choice. My question to you: do you have any requests as it relates?
That was a plot twist. I didn't expect that. I can't hear you because I'm not wearing headphones.
No. Then you should put the headphones on. Have you asked for headphones to be provided, sir?
Oh, that was the problem.
I believe they took them away previously because you were so agitated they were perhaps afraid you might break them.
I'm still agitated. I'm gonna stop being agitated. That ain't gonna stop. You sit up here and do everything you're doing. And think God don't see what you're doing?
You can't call God as a witness. That's not fair. That's like summoning Exodia.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any requests as it relates to the jury
Yeah,
instructions?
I can hear what you're saying. I can hear what you're saying.
You just told me you didn't. So which one is
Yeah,
it?
I can hear what you're saying.
What are your requests as it relates? What are your requests as it relates to the jury instructions, sir?
A little bit of ice cream in my boxes back.
Mr. Brooks, you're being disrespectful again.
You hit me in disrespect. You hit me in disrespect.
I need to know what your position
Is
is.
this the only question that gets asked in the whole 20 minutes here?
I need to know whether you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions, sir.
Yeah, first of all, why am I charging with bill jumping when I'm already charging once for saying bill jumping? That's double jeopardy.
It's not double jeopardy. Your objection is noted and it's overruled.
I'm not familiar with the law. Is double jeopardy something that you could, like an actual legal thing, or is this man really confused on where he is right now? Because that was a quick overruling. It can be, but not here. Okay. So it can't be tried twice. They call it just double jeopardy. Gotcha. Interesting term for it. Thanks to the Prime Elmer, Jillian, and the recent Hellcaster, Juan, Two-Face, and the Tier 1 chunks. And the reason you can't hear it is because this guy is not actually talking into the device he's supposed to be talking. So it's very hard to make out what he's saying.
The same charge that I'm already charging. You can't do that. The Fifth Amendment says that you can't play somebody in jeopardy of life and limb. Twice. I'm already charged with the same count. This is for the same case. It's the same bail jumping charge. So how am I charged with that?
Sir, I'm not going to provide a legal explanation other than to say I've reviewed that. Your objection is noted, but the jury will be instructed regarding the bail jumping.
It can't be because that's double jeopardy. Under the law, if these charges are identical in nature, you cannot place me in jeopardy of life and limb twice. You can't do that.
What's your next?
The same case under-
What's your next request, sir? I'm noting your objection.
I'm trying to talk. Can I get it out? You always want me to not interrupt you, but you always find a way to talk over me.
I understand your position. I'm saying it's
You
overruled.
always want respect. You always want
Well, you're not hearing the epilogue here. He's about to overrule your overruling if you give him a moment.
respect. Any bail jumping charge here that I've already been charged with. That is double jeopardy. You can't charge me for the same exact bail jumping I've already charged with. That I charged you before I even came about.
Sir, the bail jumping charges in Waukesha County are based upon your violating your bail while in Waukesha County by driving through the Christmas parade and allegedly killing 6 people and injuring 61 others.
Okay.
That's the distinction.
Again, there is something. It's the same charge.
It's the same offense. It doesn't mean it's the same factual basis, sir.
With bail jumping with the date of violation of November 21, 21 in Waukesha County anywhere. Further, the double jeopardy prohibition would prevent him from being convicted twice, not charged twice.
All right, so we've addressed that, sir. What other requests do you have as it relates to the jury instructions?
I want to know why I'm accused of charge like with the same thing. You can't
Oh
charge
my
me
god.
with
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. What the
I'm
fuck?
already charged with bail jumping for that already. So you can't essentially say, oh, well, because you were already on bail, we're going to charge
It's a
you.
different date of violation, sir. The conduct for the
Thank
bail
you,
jumping
Pace
is
and
related to the
Ladybug. The Prime
allegation.
Slate. Oh, I gotta skip around. There's no way we stay on this for 20 minutes.
Same exact thing that I'm going to bail.
No way.
Same exact case. So why are we getting instructed two cases?
States.
Oh, he got his boxes back. He can build his fort again.
Turning to 61. So I consider the request by the state. I am going to rely on what information they put in the charging document.
Mr. Fubsy.
I'm going to deny the request to include the specific case numbers. There's evidence, of course, that was received regarding the 2 separate cases out of Milwaukee County that form the basis for
Give him a couple extra boxes.
counts. It will be up to the jury to review the evidence and make a determination as to the verdict forms, though that were
What's in the boxes? He's representing himself, so it's probably just a bunch of like legal books and shit.
Obviously, the third count of bail jumping is incorrect. That needs to be battery, and that change will be made. I'm also having Madam Clerk include all of the numbers for the jury instructions when they go back, so it's very clear. Some of them did not have them on, just frankly from fire. So as it relates to this, the thing is that I simply
He's vanished, Your Honor.
instruct the jury.
The box ghost is
with that
claimed in.
instruction and not include the second paragraph. I had previously advised the jury with another paragraph. That
This is so eerily similar to that case I've told you guys about multiple times, and I keep forgetting who it was, but it was a man who had killed his girlfriend, and I believe it was the boy, his son, testified against them, giving the details, and he's like, no, you guys are all wrong. I did kill her, but not where you said I killed her. So if you're gonna tell the story, you're gonna tell it right in front of the whole court. That shit was wild. I can't remember who that was. Was that Ronnie O'Neill? That name looks very familiar. Thanks, Risa, Toad, and Jacobs. Yep, that was another person who represented himself. Somehow, the people that represent themselves are the dumbest people of all time. That's weird, right? That's weird how that works. I even just voice cracked that, how strange that was. You would think if you're representing yourself, you're like a super intellectual being, but I mean, not a great track record. So weird. Thanks the bitch ship. So what was the other one? The closing statements? Actually, I came this far. I want to see how it ends.
Paragraph.
Does he come back from the box
You
fort?
need to move the boxes away from his face. I need to be able to see him. He can keep them on the table, but they need to be moved off to the side. And if he does it one more time, then I will instruct the Veils to take the boxes away.
No, hey!
Material,
Take the boxes away. Those are his toys.
Related to jury instructions, he should take those out now. Otherwise, they need to be moved away from the microphones and away from blocking the space.
Thanks, Reese.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any position on the verbiage of jury instructions 70 on page
Hey, Sox.
65?
Are you my accuser?
What?
Are you my accuser?
Or he's choosing not to answer, so I'll mute him again. It's unfortunate that he's deciding not to participate in this. I agree with the state. I don't need to highlight the second paragraph.
What is the protocol for this? I'm very curious. Everyone I've seen represent themselves, at the very least, tries to play ball, like the guy who openly admits to murdering his girlfriend and correcting the people on where he murdered her. But this guy just straight up doesn't do anything. He just builds box forts. So at this point, it's just like a field day. You just like you just give them like everything all at once since he's not defending himself. Thanks, the gift said sweet hand. Judges usually like to be lenient in these cases to prevent grounds for appeals. Well, that's what I was saying, right? Because they're doing everything they can to avoid a mistrial motion, right? Because I mean, this is a very serious case. This guy's an absolute fucking monster. This guy's evil. This is the guy that ran through that Christmas parade, killed 6 people, injured 60. This is a man by no means should be let off easy under any circumstances. So they're doing everything they can to tiptoe around here to make sure there is absolutely no wiggle room for mistrial accusations. So I get that. So any question she asks, she can answer for him if he refuses, and doing it all herself means there's even less chance of an appeal. Interesting. No, this guy's not trying for insanity. People keep saying that. He's just that dumb. It seems like the only play he's trying to make is making the judge mad for like maybe a mistrial. It's not like an insanity plea or anything.
Out, but I will include in the paragraph that reads, at times, comma, Mr. Brooks,
He's
has
good,
appeared
Vince.
in another
Sweet
courtroom,
hand.
period, this must not influence your verdict in any manner.
Can we get an extra box out here, please? Alright, fine. We'll do a couple more clips from him. I've only seen a few. I haven't seen him do the examinations. Please do the clips of him with his own witness. Okay. What? Which one? This one? The XGF one? Which one? Both of these sound like they could be fucking wild. Alright, we'll do this one first.
Thank you, sir. Have any other questions?
All right, so, Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do, and I object to being called that name for the record.
What?
Do you recall giving a
What?
statement to officer?
Someone fill me in on the lore? What does he want to be called? He's claiming his name isn't Daryl Brooks. Oh my god, how did I miss all of this shit? I've only seen some of the clips. I had no clue. What? He thinks it's a loophole. We've seen this before on Court Cam. There was a guy, I don't remember who he's there for, it might have been a DUI, but I'm spitballing what it was. But his whole thing was, that wasn't me. That person that you're accusing of doing that is not me. That's not me. And then they asked what his name was, and he's like, it's not that. That was his whole defense. Is he trying that in this situation? That's wild. What the fuck? Okay, I missed that one. Alright. Thanks if I'm interested in the resub, Nick, and the gift sub Sonia.
Officer Probst. I don't know his name, but I talked to an officer. And you did talk to an officer that night? I talked to an officer on the phone. I did not talk to an officer that night. I mean, on the phone I did, not in person.
Okay, interesting.
So it was a conversation on the non-emergency line. Would that be fair to say?
It was on the non-emergency line. I actually confirmed it after I called to make sure I was on the non-emergency line.
Do you recall the description that you gave at that time?
I do. Well, my best of my knowledge was that you were either black, Latino,
Who's you?
or mixed.
Who's you?
Well, you have to let him answer the question first before you interrupt him with another one. Go ahead with the description you provided that night.
I said that the individual was either black, mixed, or Latino.
So it would be fair to say you didn't know at the time?
I was giving a general description.
So it would be fair to say that you weren't sure?
I was positive that it was you.
Who's you?
You. I'm looking at you.
I'll make note of that.
And how did you come to that conclusion? The
Sure.
you conclusion?
I'm looking at you.
How did you come to that conclusion? Did you?
What conclusion? You restate the question.
You're saying that you gave a description.
Alright, fine. Chat keeps pointing it out. I will also bring attention to it. This man's hairline is fucked up. It looks like a bat signal. Fine, we can get it out of the way now. Alright? And now let's move on. We get it. He's got a fucking awful hairline.
On the non-emergency phone line, correct?
It was on the non-emergency line.
So it would be fair to say at that time you had no name or knowledge of who the person was in your backyard. Would that be fair to say?
I had no idea who you were.
And so how can you say who? How can you say you then if you had no idea?
I'm looking at you. You were the guy.
And how did you come to that conclusion?
Were you and I were standing in the same yard looking at each other?
So is it possible you saw something on the news?
No, I had no idea who you were.
Interesting.
I'll make note.
Do you recall giving a description of approximately 5'9" and 160 pounds?
Yeah, something like that.
I think you're Supreme in Bob, and
Something like that, or
Nintendo,
would that be
Toaster,
accurate?
and Toad.
I didn't have a tape measure out. It was just a guesstimate.
Would it be fair to say that since you keep identifying me as you, would it be fair to say that I'm not 5'9" nor 160 pounds?
Do you have shoes on or off right now?
Would it be fair to say that I'm not 5'9" and 160 pounds?
If you take your shoes off and step out of them, they can have a
We'll
better.
never have them do that, but if you're able to answer the question, do you agree?
I'd have to be standing next to him. That's what I made my judgment from. We were about 2 feet from each other.
Does it look like I'm 5'9"?
I don't know. We were a lot closer.
Does it look like I'm 160?
I can't tell either. He could very well be 5'9". I have no fucking clue.
His appearance today, just like his hair isn't in dreadlocks today.
It's the same
Objection.
question.
Grounds for the sustain.
All right. Okay, then. Let me see this one.
So, at this point, there's no telling what witnesses will be here tomorrow, right?
Well, based on the groupings that you gave to the state, it sounds like we got through only one from each
Right.
kind of category. So we'll go back to the first would have been Thursday
Yeah, he's
morning.
defending himself.
The rest of Thursday morning. Was there 2 left of that?
Yes, correct.
So,
And so let's do Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon. The people you designated, I'm going to direct the state to have here tomorrow morning. That's 4 witnesses, whatever order of those 4.
It's 5, but yes,
5?
we'll have them here, based on your original list.
And then, how many does that leave? Because I'm not
that's what I'm trying to
doing
figure
good
out.
with math this late in the day. 4, so 4 in the afternoon then. So our hope is to get through all your witnesses.
I can't say this for
Tomorrow.
the record. One witness I intend to call tomorrow is not going to be 35 minutes.
Fair enough. Do you plan to call that person in the morning or the afternoon?
I'll call him right now.
I'm leaning towards the afternoon. That could change depending on the flow of the morning hours.
Our clock
Stick
tower.
around.
So you need to be mindful of people's schedules.
Thank you. We'll have everyone else here.
That's interesting because what if that was not what I was referring to?
Then you need to tell me right now so I can make an alteration to that.
Come on, Judge.
Sir, we're at the end of the 3rd week of trial.
So
I
can
need
we
to keep
be
this
fair-
moving
Can we at least
along.
be fair and say that that's not due to me, though?
That would not be fair to say.
How?
It's
How? The state said that they needed 5 to 7 business days to present their case. Did they or did they not say that on the record?
and there's
So how
it doesn't
did
matter
I-
how we got there at this point.
I don't even know
My
where
job
we're
is
at.
to get all the witnesses done.
So does he get his ex-girlfriend here?
I'm directing the state to have Ms. Patterson come tomorrow afternoon.
If that's
the other
what I was referring to,
witnesses,
which I wasn't, but everybody think they know what I'm thinking.
then you need to tell them if it's someone else, and if you want her here in the morning,
I'll
then
say this. Everybody that was here today that didn't get called, I have them here tomorrow. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
And you need to tell me.
Look up the stare down. Well, that's
By order,
the
we
clip
want
I
the
know the best
Otherwise,
about the whole
I
asking him a
think
question thing.
No, how you gonna make the order important?
Under 90611, sir.
No, I can call. I have the right to call them in the order that the state didn't have to have a order. And I'm guessing
No, but the
correct me if
state's
I'm wrong,
helping
though.
you out in terms of the order.
they were helping me out with serving
And
the
they're
Thank
state.
you,
helping
Brian
you-
Fleem, and the
The
Reese
order
of
of how I would call the
Shooter,
witnesses, but the
and
subpoenas.
Wayne.
And I gave the state.
Do you want to be responsible for calling each person tonight and telling them what time they need to be here, or should we let the state do that?
Jesus Christ, does he get his girlfriend there or not? No, the trial ends tomorrow. So now I'm catching up. Oh, here we go.
It will be advising
This is 58 minutes.
to have the jurors brought out, and then I'll ask you, sir, to call for the
Thanks, Reese
defense.
of Emo and Sunny.
Can we address subject matter jurisdiction and still have to be proven for the record?
I'm inclined to do so. Your objection is noted.
Is
For
the audio on?
Your objection is noted for the record.
Is the audio on?
Yes, it's on, sir. It's on.
What do you mean is the audio on?
So we're not going to address subject matter jurisdiction that has yet to be proven.
2 times speed it?
For the record, I have addressed it,
No, you have to
and
prove it
here's
for
it
the
written,
record.
and your objection's noted for the
I'm
record.
proving subject matter jurisdiction for the record. I'm proving it.
Well, I'm just trying to see maybe like important timestamps.
Oh, okay. Email that to her.
So that's a judicial determination that you don't have to answer that in a public service.
I was talking to my clerk. I didn't hear what you asked. The jury's coming in.
You heard what I asked.
They actually did not.
Look up a highlight. Yeah, maybe just a compilation. I didn't realize there was so much wacky shit to it. Like I said, I only saw like the viral Twitter clips from this shit. My god. Let me do some Saint. He thinks he's
2023 has been a pretty good year for video games so far, but that doesn't mean there haven't been some duds. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, the most disappointing games of 2023's first half. Starting out at number 10, it is Redfall. Now, Redfall is a big disappointment for me. I am a huge Arcane Games fan, and I wanted this to be good. It's an open-world co-op first-person shooter from the creators of Dishonored, Prey, and Deathloop. All games I really like. And the description of Redfall sounds like something that could be good in the hands of Arcane particularly, but it's really just kind Of an unfinished nothing game. Some of the visuals are pretty sweet. Not anywhere near all of the visuals, though. There's some things involving the vampires and even some areas of the world that look pretty cool. But for the most part, it's a pretty middling combat, all-right-ish open-world affair. If you had an incredible story that connected all of it together, some of it's excusable, but it doesn't. There's just nothing going on. There is technically a narrative, but man, oh man, is it ever bare bones. There's just very little going on, and I don't think there's a better way to make a game that had some promise disappoint people. But I think probably the biggest disappointment about it is just that it's an Arcane game. Really, it should be better than this. I love Arcane, and they're capable of better than this. And number 9 is Forspoken. This one's not quite the same as Redfall, where developers that are normally incredible put out something that's middling in every possible way. And also, honestly, there's some gameplay in Forspoken that's pretty sweet. Some. But that's about it. Where Redfall comes off as unfinished, Forspoken comes off as half-baked. But ultimately, it is another one of those games where there's some pretty high expectations because a lot of the stuff sounds very cool. It just isn't. In RB4 You Buy, Jake, I think, appropriately called it a jack of all trades, master of none situation. But I'd like to add that it's not really a jack of any of those trades, more like a crack at it. Like taking a crack at all the trades. Look at all these trades. Oh boy, I could take a crack at them and I will. I do think a lot of how people talk about this game is maybe unfair. I've definitely played worse games. But at the same time, it's also hard for me to blame anybody for having kind of a harsh opinion of it. Because again, like when they first showed this game off, they're showing us all this magical parkour stuff. High speed traversal with parkour is really cool looking, and it just doesn't deliver. Like it misses the mark hard.
Check it out, Fortress.
The combat is actually the cool part about it. Again, it's not perfect, and I mean, where it shines is where you're against the big old boss with spectacle going on and all that. And it's honestly a little less fun, and certainly a lot less spectacular when you're just kind of fighting normal enemies.
Okay.
That said, there's a lot going on there, and like I said, there's some good gameplay in this game. It's just not the majority of the game. There's a lot more stuff that just is much less fun. Much less fun. And like, again, everything about it is great in terms of its idea. The reveal was exciting. What the story sounds like it's going to be is frankly cool. And then it just, you know, it's not there, really. It's not developed or just much of something at all, which is not how, as a developer, you hope people describe your game. And number 8 is Minecraft Legends. Before this release, it actually looked a pretty interesting game. It was kind of hard to tell exactly what it was supposed to be from the pre-release footage, but it seemed pretty ambitious at least. Minecraft Dungeons was all right. We could only assume Legends was going to be cool too. I mean, Minecraft is one of the biggest franchises in the world, and you wouldn't think they'd half-ass a game with the name on it, but this one's a mess, actually. Basic concept, again, pretty good. Sort of like Pikmin crossed with more traditional RTS elements. Set in an open world. On paper, that sounds really fun, but the execution just is subpar. The actual combat parts are so simplistic, they're practically brain dead. The game could be incredibly easy, if not for some of the worst AI pathing in the world. I'll run through a single scenario. There's bad guys at the top of the cliff. That's where the base is. The only way to get in is to build a bridge. Fine, cool, makes sense. But the problems begin to come in when you're actually trying to get your units up the bridge. These things are narrow, and there's nothing stopping these idiots from just falling off the side. So most games make it so units just bunch up to get through narrow spaces, but not here. They just happily walk off the side of the bridge and get stuck. No, they don't try to backtrack and climb the bridge again. They just bunch up, and the only thing you can do is drop down and try to guide them back again and hope for the best. This sort of problem has been solved for many years, but for some reason Minecraft Legends, I don't know, just totally messed it up. Hey, look at this. What is this?
This outpost is done, but there are more piglins out there. There's no time to waste.
And number 7 is the last case of Benedict Fox. When they showed this game off the first time at Gamescom 2022, stood out as a game to keep your eye on. It's a Metroidvania with a pretty cool premise and some really gorgeous visuals. Honestly, the kind you don't see in games like this. It was an indie, but it got a pretty big push from Microsoft, and having a day 1 Game Pass release makes it one of the more noteworthy releases of the year. Unfortunately, it needed some more timing out of it. It was rough. The thing I noticed immediately when starting the game up was the controls, which were just really unresponsive and inconsistent. For any normal game, that's obviously a problem, but for a Metroidvania, it's much more of a problem. Like, these games are often about precision platforming and movement, so it kind of works itself out to be a death sentence. Sometimes jumps don't register. Combat feels clunky. And it comes out awkward, even at the best of times. To make matters worse, though, the game had serious technical issues when it first came out. It had bug saves, people lost progress, there were lots of graphical issues, stuttering, and for some reason a lot of people experienced a problem where the randomized puzzles would want an answer that was incorrect. Everyone was, like, solving the puzzles correctly, and the game was like, no, wrong, which, I mean, would kind of be hilarious if it wasn't just ruining the experience for people. On top of that, the actual Metroidvania elements were pretty just weak and basic, you know? Then there's the menus, which were clunky at best. The game just needed more QA time to get things right. And even though the developers are putting the effort in to improve what's there, even after a few bug fixes and patches, this game still feels like a disappointment. I know it's unfair to expect Hollow Knight here, but the last case of Benedict Fox just isn't good enough to be considered much more than a mediocre Metroidvania. And number 6 is The Last of Us Part 1 on PC, which, let me put it this way. When the guys were making the Before You Buy, the game didn't work. If you watch it, and I think that Jake handled this pretty even-headedly, he talks about how normally when a game comes out that we didn't get pre-release, we try to get a BYB out by the end of the day, but technical issues made that impossible. They were not minor, to put it mildly. And even when the game was going, it was not, there was something wrong. To quote Jake on the load times, he said, the load times were long, and not normal long, like something is wrong long. Because there was something wrong, and there was, not something wrong, lots of things wrong. The game was a mess when it was released, which is a shame because it's a beautiful, cool game. On PS5, it's the best version of The Last of Us Part 1 you can play. It is gorgeous. And when Last of Us Part 1 hit PC, it was the same game, but a whole lot of problems.
It like loaded for 5 minutes and then it hard crashed and it just rebooted. Oh god, like the whole thing was bricked. It's finally back on, thank God, but I don't know if I want to do that again. Totally crashed again. So much for this one.
And number 5 is Wanted Dead. You see the trailer for this one, you can't help but be intrigued. It's got cyberpunk, John Wick looking takedowns, karaoke. I mean, it looked absolutely nuts. And while I didn't really set super high expectations, it looked fun. So obviously, it did end up to be a disappointment. It's on this list. The thing about it is that it mostly works. The gameplay's a little janky, but blasting guys with a machine gun and then taking them out with a katana, it's fun. The real problem here is that there's just not much to it. After about an hour, you see pretty much about what the game has to offer, which it's longer than an hour. So let's do some math on that. I'm joking. I have no desire to do any math whatsoever. But outside of a few okay boss